Today, I'm going to be pulling back the curtain on the 7 most powerful tax strategies my wealthiest clients use today to stay wealthy and keep their tax bills low. You see, rich people don't just have more money, they move differently. Same tax code, different understanding. And as a CPA who's worked with some of the wealthiest clients in the country, I see exactly how they play the game of taxes on their tax return, in their business structures, and the decisions they make on a daily basis. And if you're thinking these strategies are only reserved for millionaires and billionaires, they're not. Most of these strategies work for everyday people just like you once you understand how to leverage them. And make sure you stick around for number 3, because this one is the most overlooked move of the entire tax code and is hiding in plain sight. So without further ado, let's get right to the 7. So strategy number 1 is building multiple streams of income. You see, how you make your money is more important than how much money you make. You see, when you have multiple streams, you want to ensure that they're structured properly. And if they're structured properly, they can minimize your taxes. You see, when I look at tax returns for some of my wealthiest clients, I see the same pattern every single time. They have dividend income. They have capital gains income. They might have some consulting income. They have some passive income. They have multiple streams of income running simultaneously into one tax return. And each one of these income streams is structured properly to maximize their income, but minimize their taxes. You see, the average millionaire makes 7 streams of income. That's not luck. That's not accident. That is architecture. I want you to think about it like this, right? Think of your income like a fortress. One wall of defense makes it vulnerable, but multiple walls and keep each income stream independent makes your entire financial structure impossible to breach. And that's what income diversification does for your finances. It doesn't just protect you from economic downturns, it creates a financial ecosystem that allows you to produce wealth whether you're working or not. And when each stream is structured properly, you can actually make more money while simultaneously decreasing your taxes. And here's the kicker. Passive income is not taxed at normal ordinary income tax rates. Passive income is taxed at capital gains tax rates. Business income can be offset by tax deductions. And with this type of tax efficiency, you can dramatically minimize your taxes. So I want you to start identifying which of your current skills or assets could generate some of this income outside of your primary job. Because here's the thing, I'm not telling anybody in here to quit their job, but I am telling you it is irresponsible to allow your job to trick you into believing that that is the only way you should be earning income, because one source of income is too close to no sources of income. So when you work with a good CPA, you understand how these streams work. You can minimize your taxes while maximizing your income. So now that you understand how the wealthy diversify their income, the next strategy is about what they do once that income arrives. And this it's the single biggest distinction between people who earn well and people who actually build true wealth. Which brings us to strategy number 2, which is acquiring assets instead of just earning income. You see, strategy number 2 shifts you from just earning income to acquiring assets, because here's the thing. Earned income is the highest tax income that you can possibly have. And wealthy people understand this. They understand that earned income requires effort and gets taxed at the highest rates, while other things like assets, businesses, real estate, stocks, intellectual property, they grow in value in the background. And often they have some of the most powerful tax advantages associated with this type of income. Real estate has depreciation. Businesses have capital gains. Real estate has 1031 like-kind exchanges. Businesses have something called the QBI deduction, which gives you a 20% tax deduction for all the income that you earn. So the tax code is loaded with incentives for assets just like this, and W-2 earners simply don't have access to these strategies. Now, here's what I want you to know. While the average person celebrates a raise, wealthy people celebrate acquiring assets that produce income without their direct involvement. Because here's what I learned. If you don't find ways to make your money work hard for you, guess what? You always have to work hard for the money. So we need to find ways to make our money work harder for us than we work for it. And this shifts us from a consumption mindset to a ownership mindset. And this is one of the biggest distinctions that I see from ordinary people to my wealthy clients. So Before you make your next purchase, ask yourself this: is this consuming my wealth or is it building it? You see, start converting a portion of your income into income producing assets as early as possible, even if it's a single real estate property, even if it's a few dividend paying stocks. You start with assets that can generate income, because not only is your money working hard for you, but that income is actually taxed less. So now that you understand the asset acquisition mindset, the next strategy is one of the most powerful and underused tax moves in the entire tax code. And the people that you need to help you implement this are sitting at your dinner table. So strategy number 3 is employing your family members inside of your business and using it as a legal strategy to reduce your tax liability while building generational wealth for your family. Let me explain. You see, wealthy business owners do this consistently. Like every time I look at their tax return, they have a family, they're implementing this strategy, right? And so when structured correctly, paying your family members for real documented work not only reduces the taxable income for the business, but it shifts income from your high tax bracket to your children's low tax bracket. And if this is done properly, this money can be invested for them to build long-term wealth. So let me explain what makes this so powerful. So when you pay your family members from your business, that gives them earned income. And when they have earned income, they can actually set up retirement accounts in their name. They can fund Roth IRAs, 529 savings plans, their investment accounts. And if done properly, this money can grow tax-free. So you, the business owner, get a tax deduction for the money being paid out. Your children receive the money tax-free, and they can invest it in an account that grows tax-free forever. So a child earning $7,000 from your business could take that $7,000 and contribute it to a Roth IRA, and it will grow tax-free forever for them. So not only are you showing your family members how to run an actual business, how to be a part of an actual business, you're building long-term wealth for them at the same time. And this is what we call an income shifting strategy. How do we shift income off of our tax return and put it somewhere else with a lower tax bracket? So if you own a business, you want to document these roles properly, right? Each family member needs a role. Even if it's part-time or seasonal work, you need to pay fair market value wages, keep detailed records, and work with your CPA to make sure you're doing and implementing this strategy correctly. But done right, it is one of the most powerful generational wealth moves that any business owner can do. So now that you understand how to use your family as a tax strategy, the next move is about how wealthy people make sure they're never caught off guard by a large tax bill at the end of the year. Now, before we get into strategy number 4, quick pause. If you're a high income earner, somebody earning $300,000 or more, and you don't have a proactive tax plan in place, you're likely overpaying taxes. You see, most CPAs are focused on compliance, not strategic tax reduction. And that's fine for low income earners, but not somebody like you. So if you're interested in learning how to work with our firm, click the link in this video. So you can either schedule a call with our firm, or you can join one of our wealth workshops where you can spend 5 days with us to learn how we can help you, and then we can actually help you. So if that's you, let us know. Click the link in the bio. Now let's get back to the episode, which brings us to strategy number 4, which is using the entire year to implement tax strategy versus just the beginning of the year. Let me explain. You see, high income earners don't just wait to April to think about taxes. No, they plan throughout the year strategically. They understand that different income types are taxed differently, and they structure their activities properly to create flexibility on their tax return. So they layer business ownership with different investment strategies alongside maybe their W-2 income, so they could take advantage of depreciation, real estate losses, business losses, so that at the December 31st, before the end of the year, they already know what tax bill they're going to pay next year, if any tax bill at all. So rather than accepting a large tax bill that is quote unquote unavoidable, they monitor their tax projections quarterly. And this is why having a tax strategist is so important. You should be monitoring your tax projections quarterly. They track their income in real time, they track their expenses in real time, and they track their depreciation in real time. And based on where their income is, it shows them what tax strategies need to be implemented before the end of the year to completely wipe out their tax bill. So proactive tax strategy preserves most of their income from being taxed. And then you know what they do? They take all this money that was going to be taxed, that's no longer going to be taxed, and they use it to reinvest their money into more assets to offset their tax bill in future years to come. So the lesson here is simple. Stop waiting until tax season to start thinking about taxes. Start having quarterly check-ins with your CPA, not just to file your taxes, but to know what your projected income is, to know what your projected liability is, and to build a tax strategy that will eliminate that tax bill. So now that you understand the importance of proactive tax planning, these next few strategies are about protecting and transferring everything that we just built. And most people don't think about this until it's too late. Which brings us to strategy number 5, which is taking advantage of trust structures. You see, one of the most powerful and overlooked tools in wealth preservation is estate planning. You see, wealthy families use trust structures to protect assets, to create tax efficiency, and to ensure their wealth transfers to exactly who it's intended to transfer to. You see, properly structured trusts can shield assets from unnecessary exposure. They can also reduce your taxes, and they can provide absolute clarity on how your wealth should be managed across generations. They also provide privacy and continuity if done properly, so your heirs aren't left navigating probate with unclear instructions on how you want your estate to be distributed. Most people spend their entire lives focused on building wealth, right? Wealthy people think one step further. They ask themselves, not just how can I generate wealth today, but how can I preserve it for generations to come? Because one of the most scary stats I've seen recently is that 70% of wealth is killed by the next generation, and 90% of wealth is killed by the third generation. And if you don't have an estate plan in place or have at least a minimal irrevocable living trust, this could be your reality. So working with the estate planning attorney and your CPA together, not separately, to make sure that your assets, your businesses, your real estate, and your family is protected. You see, the best time to set this up is before you actually need it. And the cost of not doing it right now could cost you your entire estate that you've been building your entire life, and we don't want that. Now that you understand how to protect your wealth across generations, the next strategy is about decisions that most business owners make without even thinking about it. And not thinking about it ends up costing them thousands of dollars every single year. Which brings us to strategy number 6, which is choosing a state-friendly domicile. You see, what I realize about most wealthy people is they don't want to pay unnecessary taxes if they can avoid it based on where they live, right? So I actually moved from California, which has a 13% state tax bracket, to Texas, which has a 0% tax bracket. So simply by changing where I want to be domiciled, I am saving 13% of all my income from being taxed. And wealthy business owners, they do this too. They move to tax advantage states like Delaware, Wyoming, Florida, Nevada, all these states where there are no state income taxes, right? Alex Hormozy, who's one of the biggest entrepreneurs of the decade, he's stationed in Las Vegas because he doesn't want to pay that unnecessary tax in state tax when he can easily avoid it by just moving his state domicile. So if you own a business and you're thinking about where you want to be domiciled, or even if you're a high income earner and you have control over where you live, you really should start thinking about, is it possible for me to maintain the same income while moving to a different state that can completely eliminate my obligation to pay state taxes? If you can do that, I highly recommend you do it. And as a business owner, you control your domicile more than anybody else. So you can choose what state you want to reside in, and you can choose exactly how much state taxes you want to pay or how much state taxes you don't want to pay. So now that you understand how optimizing where you operate can minimize your taxes, let's talk about the final strategy that brings everything together. And this strategy includes one of the most powerful and underutilized financial partnerships available to business owners everywhere. Which brings us to strategy number 7, which is collaborating with your spouse to minimize your taxes. You see, wealthy couples don't manage their money separately. They align their income strategically, they make investment decisions together, and they put themselves in the best tax position to bring down the taxable income of the entire household. So they can take advantage of strategies like real estate professional status, the spousal loophole, or hiring the spouse in their business. Let me break these down. So number 1, the spousal loophole. If I'm a high income earning spouse and I earn, let's say, call it $1 million in income, it's going to be hard for me to find $1 million in tax deductions to offset my income. However, if my spouse stays at home, instead of her being a stay-at-home spouse, she could become a stay-at-home real estate professional. And if she gets real estate professional status, guess what? We both get real estate professional status. And what real estate professional status allows us to do, it allows us to accelerate depreciation on any real estate that we acquire. So if I have my stay-at-home spouse manage our real estate portfolio and I buy $3 million worth of real estate that year, right? I can write off 30% of that in year one. 30% of 3 million is about $900,000 in tax deductions. That will almost completely eliminate that $1 million in earned income that I had from my business. But I wouldn't be able to do that if my spouse wasn't aligned with the financial game plan of the household, which says you need to get real estate professional status so that we both can get real estate professional status. And when both spouses understand the plan and their respective roles in the plan, execution becomes smoother, opportunities are identified faster, and the household operates at the most tax advantage method possible. And when you combine your spouse with your children, now the whole household is not only building wealth together, but they're saving on taxes together. So start having direct conversations with your spouse about your current financial structure and how filing jointly or them getting real estate professional status. How can you all optimize together and bring these questions to your CPA so you can start implementing these strategies this year? Because every year of savings compounds to your future net worth. So those are the 7 strategies, but they can be put in one master playbook to build tax-free wealth. Let's break it down. Number 1, build multiple streams of income and structure them for maximum tax efficiency. Number 2, acquire assets instead of just earning income and let the tax code work in your favor. Number 3, add your family members to your business right away so you can shift income off your high tax bracket to their low tax bracket. Number 4, you want to tax plan strategically throughout the year so you don't have to worry about April when it comes tax filing season if you're taking care of business during tax planning season. Number 5, use trust structures to protect and transfer your wealth properly. Number 6, choose the right state to be domiciled in to minimize your state taxes. And number 7, collaborate with your spouse and coordinate as one financial unit. If you do this playbook, not only will you be able to build massive wealth, you'll be able to build massive tax-free wealth. And if this episode opened your eyes to what is possible, please subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments if you enjoyed this episode and which of the 7 strategies you're going to be using in 2026 to ultimately build tax-free wealth. Until next time, guys, peace.